I opened my eyes and saw
お願い。
Kurusu looking weaker than I'd ever seen her before.
タクル、お願いだからこれ以上はやめて。もうやめて。
You know, it kind of reminds me. Well, I don't probably know not what's happening, but kind of reminds me of another like anime scene. I forget what anime it is, but basically there's like this scene where the main character is like talking nonsense. Basically, it makes sense, I guess, within the context. But they were talking about all this random nonsense or whatever. I think probably I don't know. Maybe they were just like an anime otaku or something, and they were just talking like with like weeb speak. I don't know. But then another character, I guess, kind of like very similar, like maybe like a sister character. I don't know, some kind of like waifu. Basically, there's a very similar thing where they, say, "Hey, could you stop talking nonsense? All you've been talking to me is nonsense." And then she cries and yells at him. It's this very like dramatic scene because the main character is talking like a weirdo. Basically, it reminds me of that. Anyway. She reached out with shaking hands to grab my arms.
クルス。
怖いの、私。これ以上あなたが事件に首を突っ込んで何かあったらと思うと、いても立ってもいられない。怖くて怖くて。
Or maybe, well, again, the scene, I did say like he was talking, I don't know, it might have been edited. It might have been, because it's kind of like a meme as well. It might have been like they were talking about something specific in the anime, but the main character often is edited to say like, like, I love my waifu or whatever. He's talking like, weeb shit or whatever, and then the other person explodes on him. Anyway.
あなたにだってわかるでしょ。大切なものを失うのが どれだけ辛いことか。
Anyway, Kurusu is very scared. Kurusu is very worried.
私はもう失いたくないの。家族を、大切な人を。だからお願い、タクル。そんなおかしな事件を追うのはもうやめて。お願い。
Okay, which, I mean, makes actually Kurusu very suspicious, She's like, it's as if she knew about this all along or something, So, I mean, she could be the mastermind. Maybe she's the killer. Lock her up, Takaru. Kurusu seemed so weak, like she was about to cry. I was shocked. I never thought she'd let me see her like this. I still didn't understand how much I've been making Kurusu worry. Her hands gripped me harder, as if she was trying to stop me, as if she was clinging to me. A gasp of pain slipped from her mouth. Maybe her wound had opened again. But she kept on clinging to me tightly. And then I suplexed her off the bed. She held me and wouldn't let me go. I was a fool. I was such a fool. I gotten cocky just because I learned something new, and forgotten how much that would hurt the people close to me.
ごめん。ごめん。本当にごめん。そんなに心配させてたなんて。僕。
タクル、それじゃ。
でも。
I removed Kurisu's hands as gently as I could.
一つだけやっておかなきゃいけないことがあるんだ。それだけは許してほしい。
それは大事なことなの？
うん。
私たち家族より大事なことなの？
同じくらい大事なことかな。
同じくらい。一体何がそんなに。
スマホ 取り返さなきゃ。
I guess it's very important. My phone, you see. Which I mean, context makes sense, you know, but it just sounds funny to me. It's like, oh, what's more important than your family? My phone. You know, my phone was stolen that night. Now it was in the hands of a mysterious girl who was either connected to the killer or maybe the killer herself. I didn't know. But given what I've seen so far, there's no way she wasn't connected somehow. So I had to get it back no matter what.
そんなの。
ダメなんだ。あれには新聞部のデータが入ってる。それにここのことも。もしそれが見られたら。
データって連絡先とか取材の成果とかでしょ。それにロックだってかけてあるって。
うん。でももしものことだってあるし。
If there really were psychic powers, someone might have a way to get the data off of it. I mean, I don't think you need psychic powers to like hack a phone. It's possible without psychic powers, but anyway. And then something terrible might happen. Oh, okay, delusion sound? Weird, but I didn't get a choice to get a delusion. Huh. Suddenly, the lights went off and the room was plunged into darkness. The darkness was so sudden that my eyes didn't have time to adjust. I could barely see anything.
クルス、どうしたんだよ。おい。
But even though she was right in front of me a second ago, she didn't answer. There's only the silent darkness.
クルス、返事しろよ。どこ行ったんだよ。
クルスノノならいない。もう殺した。
Oh, okay. She was already dead. Mo Shinyeru. Suddenly, a voice came from the darkness. I turned toward it and I saw a small shadow standing there. Yes, the killer Loli.
お前。
愚かなやつだ。余計なことに首を突っ込まなければ死ぬこともなかったろうに。
I can't believe we're gonna die to a little girl. Her hands were filled with knives. Yes, the silver blade shone with bloody crimson light. No, it wasn't just a light that looked like blood. There was a liquid dripping down from it that looked just like...
本当の血だ。
そうだ、血だよ。言ったろ？クルスノノを殺したと。
The girl with the knives pointed to a corner in the darkness and grinned. I saw the silhouette of something that looked like a head. Well, that was fast. Just came out of nowhere and just decapitated her. Just rolling on the ground. How'd you... I was gonna say, how did you do it so easily, you know, cutting out someone's head that quickly without us even noticing? Anyway. Kurusu. Kurusu!
今さら後悔しても遅いぞ、宮代タクル。これは全てお前が招いたことだ。
She smiled and started to walk toward me. You're approaching me? Okay. Now run away. I screamed out into the hallway. There's a killer lonely in the house. Oh no. There's no answer. I heard nobody call back to me.
ああ、無駄だよ。お前の妹も弟も父親もみんな殺しておいたからな。
That was fast. I guess she's also a stealth master. She just sneaked into the house and got a bunch of stealth kills somehow as well.
あとはお前だけだ。さっさと死ね。タクル？どうしたの、タクル？
Okay. I mean, obviously that was a delusion. But it's interesting how we have forced delusions now. I suddenly found myself back in Kurisu's room. She was reaching a hand out toward me, concerned. She'd been stabbed because of me, but she wasn't dead, she was alive. It was just a delusion. I wiped the sweat off my forehead and told Kurisu over and over again that I was just fine. If I wasn't careful, it might become real. The data on that smartphone was too dangerous. Of course, that wasn't the only reason I wanted it back. Because it had my anime pictures. No, the picture, rather. The picture we'd taken together. I hadn't told Kurisu, and I never would, but that was one of my precious memories. The only one I had, or rather, well, the only memory you had. That's why I hadn't even made a backup. If I did, it felt like it wouldn't be as special anymore. Really? But why? Just make a backup, idiot. It's the same, though. Just make a backup, dummy. It was a picture of my family. I don't know. Maybe I personally don't get it. Because, I don't know, maybe I'm the weirdo. Because I tend to not be all sentimental about photos, you know? I don't really care about, like, taking photos to remember stuff by, you know? But that's just me, I guess. Because I don't know. Again, I'm just super weird. But if you need a photo to remember something, you know, by the time, like, you forget about it, you know? Or, I don't know. I'm explaining it in a weird way. What I'm trying to say is, like, you don't need to take photos because if it's something important to you, then you'll just remember it, right? And if you do forget it, then it wasn't important to you. So if you need a photo to remind yourself of what it was, then the feeling's already gone, so I don't know. I feel like it's just better to just have it in your head rather than take actual just photos of your face. Like, I don't think it really matters. But I don't know. Anyway, back when I still considered them my family. Back when things were fun. It was the one thing I owned that I really cared about.
とにかくあれだけは何としても取り返さなきゃならないんだ。
I gripped Kurisu's hand softly for a second and headed for the door. She tried to get up from the bed and buckled over from the pain. I wanted to run back and help her. I wanted to run over, get her back into the bed, call Dad, and that's what I wanted to do. But if I went back now, she probably wouldn't let me go. So I left the room and closed the door without looking back as she dies bleeding on the bed. Whoops, as it turns out her wound did reopen and you could have saved her by calling, you know, the ambulance, but never mind, I guess. I could hear her voice on the other side of the door. It stung a little. Okay, well, we already took care of that. I ignored Yui's angry yells and ran out the door to get back what was important to me. I had to go back there to AH Tokyo General Hospital. Okay, same day. October 10th, 2015, Saturday. Kurisu stared silently at the closed door. Her heart was filled with regret. She should have tried harder to stop him. She should have ignored the wounds in her stomach and clung to him harder. Oh yeah, interesting. Again, an interesting connection. You know, all of these, most of these deaths, not all of them, but most of these deaths have something to do with the, you know, the stomach area. And also Kurisu also has a wound in her stomach. Anyway. I don't know if that's a coincidence or not, but fortunately the wound didn't seem to have opened. In that instant, her father, Sakamu's words had come back to her. Or her father, Sakamu's words. If you push yourself too hard and that wound opens again, it might leave a scar. His words had stopped her, and Miyashiro Takaru had left. In the end, maybe she only cared about herself. It was true that she didn't want to lose her family, but
ダメなの。あの病院に近づいちゃダメなのよ。
too bad. Going to the hospital. She picked up the smartphone that had fallen to the floor when she stumbled out of bed. She opened the screen with trembling hands. On the screen was... Minamisawa Senri. She's dead, right? Minami? She's on the memorial stone or whatever. Her name is on there, I guess. So I assume, unless maybe she's not dead, I don't know. Maybe we've seen her before. I don't know. Oh, anyway. Hey, it's nighttime.
すまん、待たせた。
Ito saw us from across the street and ran over.
悪いな。いや、それよりも声。すまん。
Ito quickly lowered his voice.
こっちこそすまないな。こんな時間に。
タクと私たちの仲だもん。
それに、お前一人で行かせて何かあったら、女帝に殺される。
When I heard the word Empress, I remembered how desperately Kurisu had tried to stop me. I shook my head a little to drive the image out of my mind. After I left yesterday, I had gone straight to AH Tokyo General Hospital. This time, I wouldn't be able to just blunder in like I had when I snuck into the psych ward. I spent the whole night looking at the locations of the ER entrance and emergency exits, as well as the security system. And then I spent today pretending to be visiting a patient while I scouted the inside, and in the evening headed to Serika's house. We were, what's the word for like... I don't know, I kind of forgot, but you know, there's a word for like, scouting out the joint, I guess, right before a robbery or something. It's what you do in the game, in a little known game called Payday 2. That's what you do. Like it's like casing, right? Is that what it's called? Like casing a joint? Anyway, I guess that's what Takuru did. I wanted to do it alone, but I realized it would be too dangerous. And then we put on our clown masks and take out our guns and, you know, everyone down. We're gonna go find my phone. I needed a partner who could contact Shinju immediately if something happened, and the only two people I could ask were Serika and Ito.
うまく取り戻せるといいな、スマホ。ここの連中が犯人と関係あるかどうか知らねえけど、やっぱりあれを渡したままにしておくのはまずい。
ああ、おかしな着信もあったしな。
思い出させるなよ。今考えても恐ろしい。
I'd cancel my phone contract immediately, but somehow it called Ito. That had scared the hell out of me. And unlike older cell phones, a smartphone was filled with personal information. There was no way I could let them keep it. It might be too late.
それにさ、あれには大事なものが入ってるもんね。
I mean, like, assuming they already cracked the phone, you know, they could just, you know, just copy and paste, you know, all the information already. So getting the phone itself is already, like, there's no point if they already have the information, but I don't know. Maybe they hadn't gotten into it yet. But assuming that they did, because they called Ito, I don't know, whatever. Maybe we'll see.
何が？
It could also be they're using psychic powers. I mean, that's the problem of introducing supernatural things into like a mystery case. It becomes to the point where anything is possible, you know? It's like, oh, maybe they just called him using psychic powers, or I don't know, they like something that can't get explained. Psychic powers, you know, magic, whatever, magic. It's like that's what I don't like about, you know, that's why I don't like it when they introduce that sort of thing into a mystery story, because then, you know, what's the point of guessing? Because magic, you know, just say magic, that's it. But anyway, I shouldn't complain too much.
良くないこともあると思うな。怪我してるのんちゃんを喜ばせてあげてもいいのにね。
ま、宮代らしいけど。
悪かったな。
んじゃ、行こうぜ。お前が調べたデータだと、そろそろ警備が交代する時間だろ。
あ、
We nodded to each other and jogged along the wall surrounding AH Tokyo General Hospital. And I guess, I don't know, getting the guards routine, you know? Is that something that's easily, like, available?
ここまでは予定通り。いや、むしろ上々だな。
Oh well, we're not gonna talk about it, I guess. Somehow he got, like, all the security plans for this hospital. Maybe it's, I mean, because it's a hospital, maybe it's not so much, like, well guarded, but, Well, Ito was right. Getting into the hospital had proved easier than planned. A big part of it was that I had memorized the way in, but the biggest advantage we had was that the rear staff entrance was unlocked for some reason. If that had been locked, we would have had to go through the ER entrance. That would mean we'd probably be caught by the staff, but just as I was starting to worry, Sarika turned the doorknob and told me that it was unlocked. Now I'm suspicious. I've always been suspicious of Sarika, but this is the second time she somehow stumbled into like a rear entrance, so... Anyway.
また鍵が開いてた。この前と同じか。
Sarika, are you the main villain? Are you pretending to be dumb? Because if I had to choose like a suspect, it would be Sarika actually. Like she's always pushing us towards solving the case, and somehow she keeps stumbling upon, you know, getting into like further into what we're trying to do, you know. And the hospital as well, the door opens somehow. I don't know, Sarika. Anyway. I suddenly remember what had happened when I first snuck into the psych ward and almost stopped for a second to think. But then I drove the idea from my mind. I needed to focus on getting the phone right now. It was nighttime at the hospital, and this was in the ward where patients were kept. The lobby was pitch dark. Sometimes I could hear a strange, unpleasant sound, like two pieces of metal touching. We dropped down low and tried to move quietly. Someone could spot us at any moment. It was the middle of autumn, and I could still feel cold sweat running down my back.
問題はスマホがどこにあるかだよね。
だな。
That girl was definitely the one who picked it up, which meant that finding her would be the fastest way, but I had no way of knowing where she was. You know, maybe it's just in the lost and found, you know?
病院の中を全部探して回るわけにもいかないしな。
Like, we're assuming the little girl and the old lady is apparently, like, super evil, you know, and everything. But as far as I know, at least from Takeru's perspective, he just had a delusion about her, you know, and that's it. And the only time we did see them was in the photos, in all the crime scenes, you know, and also them just walking down the hallway in the hospital. They might be just completely innocent, you know, and they just found a phone. And it's kind of like, oh, hey, someone's phone? They might have just put it on the lost and found box. I don't know. But
あの日どこであの子と会ったんだっけ。
I retraced our steps on that day. First we hid in the bathroom, and then...
精神科の病棟へ入った。
That's where we'd seen the sumo stickers drawn on the walls in blood.
ってことは、まずはそこに行かなきゃいけないってことか？
いや、何もそこまでする必要は。
And... I didn't want to go back there.
病棟から逃げるときに非常階段を使った。階段をずっと降りていって、そこでスマホを落としてあの子に拾われた。
となると、その非常階段に向かえばいいってことか。どっちだ？
Hey, yeah, speaking of emergency stairs, that's also another instance where I think Sarika opened the door even though we thought it might have been locked. Again, I don't know. I mean, Sarah, I don't know. Either she's somehow the super mastermind of this entire game, or maybe she does have special powers as well. We've been talking about psychics and everything. Maybe her special power, assuming that she has one, is opening locked doors. That's her superpower, I guess. Or maybe she's just really good at doing the lock picking mini game in the Bethesda games. Anyway.
それが逃げるのに夢中だったからはっきりとした場所かな。
I haven't been able to remember when I've been scouting the place out this afternoon either.
多分あっちかも。
Serica started to move forward, looking around as she walked.
覚えてるのか？
なんとなくだけど。
Serica walked forward hesitantly. We followed.
ここか？
違うかな。
いや、そうだったかもしれない。
There was a steel door to the emergency stairs in front of us. I turned the knob and softly pushed it. It was a little heavy, but it opened without catching on anything. This one wasn't locked either, evidently. No, I guess this isn't locked. Maybe it was, I don't know, maybe I'm suspecting Serica too much. Maybe this was normally unlocked anyway. Well, the emergency stairs stretch up and down, illuminated by the cold fluorescent lights. I did say before that usually you're supposed to keep the emergency stairs open, right? Because they're emergency stairs, in case of a fire. If you lock them, how are you gonna, escape if it's locked? Anyway, as I stared at them, I realized that I remember coming down these stairs.
どうだ？多分ここだ。すごいな、物絵は。
褒められちゃった。
Serica grinned.
よし、行こう。あ。
We carefully walked down dimly lit staircase. I started to get more and more nervous. Even if I'd done my homework before I'd come here, wasn't this even easier than last time? Maybe we're being led into a trap. Maybe something terrible is waiting up ahead to swallow us. Num num. Like literally just a giant, I don't know, monster. It's gonna eat us. Oh no. I tried to shake my head and drive the thoughts out of my mind.
あの子、今夜もまたどこかを歩いてるのかな。
どうだろう。
What was she doing with an old woman in a dark hallway at that hour anyway? Maybe the old woman wanted to go to the bathroom. I don't know. Why are we suspecting these two? I mean, I guess, again, we saw them. We always see them in the crime scenes in the photos, I guess. That was the initial, clue. But, I don't know. Where did she come from and where did she go? Where'd you go? Where'd you come from? Where'd you go? Where'd you come from? Cotton Eye Joe. Also, if I did run into her again, what should I do? Ideally, I get my phone back without causing too much of a fuss, but I could imagine things would be that easy. For now, I thought of an escape route, but it still might be dangerous.
ね、タク、ほら、あれ。
We'd reached the end of the staircase. There was a cold steel door in front of us. There were no further stairs to go down. Past this door should be the hallway where I dropped my phone.
もうここまで来たんだ。
I mean, possibly it could just still be there. I don't know. No one picked it up. It's kind of unlikely though, because it's been a day or two, so people have walked the hallways. They should have seen the phone at least if it wasn't those two that picked it up. I told myself that there was no time for second thoughts and nodded at Serica and Ito. Then I put my hand on the cold doorknob. Fortunately, it wasn't locked either. I looked down the hallway as I listened to a loud creaking of the hinges.
誰もいないね。
ああ。
Serica and Ito both looked a little relieved. There was no one in the hallway at all. We slipped past the open doorway and proceeded down the hallway, being careful not to make any noise. Maybe it was my imagination, but the air seemed more stale here than it did upstairs. Identical doors stretched out on either side, and there was no way to know what was in each room. The letters on the plates were too small to read in the dim light, unless you squinted. I got close to one to try and read it when...
おい、誰が来る?
Sarika and I jumped at Ito's words. I listened carefully, and sure enough, from behind I heard... very slow footsteps. And not just one pair. They were slow, as if only taking one step at a time. I knew those footsteps. Those footsteps were...
あいつらだ。
とにかく一度隠れようよ。
隠れるってどこへ?
The door to the emergency exit was the same way the footsteps were coming from. There was no time to get back there now.
ここ開いてる。
I slid inside the door directly next to us. Just before I did, though, I saw the horrible words written on the plate next to the door.
何ここ？ロッカールーム？
Is it a morgue? I don't know, because I see these things, and I'm reminded of a different game. Anyway. The walls were covered in steel cabinets. They were just big enough for someone to lie down in. This place was...
あ、そうだ。もしかしたらこの中に隠れられるかもしれないよ。
I mean, no, you shouldn't do that. Sarika put her hands on one of the cabinet doors.
ちょ、おい。
The words on the plate had read... autopsy room. Yes. Oh yeah, it's the same room we were in when we were like Shinjo and we saw the body of Watabe. Which meant that what was inside was...
ダメだ、おのえ、そりゃ。
Too late. She's gonna open it. I closed my eyes, imagining what I was about to see inside. It's a zombie! Oh no!
タク、
Turns out it was a zombie game after all. Zombie story. I opened my eyes when she spoke and saw there was no one, nothing inside.
なんか変なロッカーだね。
I guess it's unoccupied.
おのえ、これロッカーじゃなくて。
I whispered to her and she went pale. Ito must have figured it out too, because so did he.
とにかくこの中に隠れるなんてごめんな。どこか別の場所を探そう。
It's probably really cold in those cabinets. You're gonna catch a cold, I guess. The footsteps were still approaching from down the hallway. And for some reason, it felt like they were coming toward this room.
嘘だ。なんで解剖室なんかに?
This wasn't a place that anyone would ordinarily choose to visit. Ito was panicking too.
宮代、どうする？こっちに来るぞ。
I listened carefully again. There was no doubt. The footsteps were definitely coming this way. But I didn't see any place in the room we could hide. Except one.
やっぱりここに。
Sarika was shaking a little, but she put her hand on one of the cabinet doors.
バカ！そこはダメだって。隠れるなら他に。
他ってどこだ?
I looked around and didn't see any other place in the room where three of us could hide.
早くしないと来ちゃうよ。
We could just, like, you know, say hi to them. I don't know. I guess they're assuming they might be the killers, so I'm not gonna do that, I guess. I didn't have a choice. I had to do it. If the lamp on the cabinet was green, did that mean it was empty? Or did it mean the opposite? I mean, you should have checked, you know, the first time you opened the cabinet, but I guess not. I felt all the hairs on my neck stand on end, but I still managed to pull open the door. Thankfully, there was nothing inside. Sarika was normally a ditz, but at times like this, she was really courageous. Her whole body was shaking, but she managed to jump in first.
タク、もう一人入れるよ。あ、私 人じゃ怖いよ。お願いだよ。
Okay. She grabbed my hand from inside. She was right. Since Serica was so small, there was room for another person near.
人悪いがここに3人は無理だ。お前は隣へ。
Yeah, Ito always the third wheel, I guess.
お前を一人にしとくわけいかない。
俺だってこんなところに一人は嫌だ。
And then the footsteps outside stopped. Just as I expected, they stopped right outside this door. I felt a terror like if someone was pointing a cold knife at my back.
待っていてください。今ドアを開けますから。
I heard a voice outside.
もうダメだ。とにかく入れ、糸。
That was her real voice, I guess. Sounds very polite, actually just a nice girl. Totally not like a type of girl that would like just stab your entire family and then kill you. While laughing maniacally.
待て、やめ。
I ignored Ito and yanked open the door next to mine. And then I pushed him in head first.
いいから早く。
He's gonna share a cabinet with a corpse, maybe. Ito held his hands over his mouth to desperately stifle a scream. As soon as he was all the way inside, I shut the door. It would be really bad if I was closed all the way, so I left him a little gap. Then I crouched inside and slid next to Serica. Ah, yes, how romantic. This is a very romantic moment.
よし、閉めるぞ。
I mean, stuck with Serica again. Reminds me of the time we were stuck in the bathroom stall together. I guess this isn't anything new. I brought the door closed, leaving just enough of a gap that it couldn't be seen from the outside. The inside of the cabinet was hard and cold. I was gonna say hard? No. It made no sense since no one was in here would ever complain, or it made sense rather, since no one was who was in here would ever complain because they're freaking dead. Alright, I'm gonna stare at her boobs. I guess it's just her like sprite, but like just turned sideways, I guess. Since I was pushed up against Serica, the parts of my body that were touching hers felt strangely warm. Yes. But we didn't have time to enjoy each other's warmth. No time for fan service. I looked outside, holding my breath to make as little noise as possible. Just a moment later, they came inside. There were 5 or 6 of them. More than 2? Interesting. I was sure it would be all old people, but some of them were middle-aged or young men. Or maybe they're talking about the autopsy room itself. If it was just old people, I was planning on stealing it by force if I had to, but that was impossible now. Okay, who are we? I think we're the I don't know. I have no idea. What do they mean by... What was that? I didn't understand that whole paragraph. They came inside. There were 5 or 6 of them. I'm sure it would be all old people. Some of them were middle-aged young men. Oh, okay. He was talking about the phone. Okay, I was confused because I thought they were gonna steal the cabinets. No. Okay, that is just Takuru just thinking through himself. I guess yeah, there was more than 2. I thought there was just a little girl and an old lady, but I guess it's just more people. And we realized. But what were they doing in a place like this? And then I started to wonder again. A sudden, horrible fantasy made my whole body shiver. Were they already dead? And this is where they slept? Okay, they're just zombies. I was right, it was zombies. That was impossible. This wasn't a horror movie or something, right? I mean, it's a horror visual novel. I mean, you're not far off. I tried to tell myself I was being silly, but I could tell I was shaking. Serica was probably no different. She was clinging to me like a little child. Again, it's just funny to me because they literally just took the sprite, they just turned it sideways, that's it. There's no like custom artwork or anything. It's just her on her side, anyway. But then I remembered. This was a lot like what had happened before. When the 2 of us had seen that terrifying sight as children. Yes. Oh, actually, that woman on the chair. I think I recognize it. But, well, anyway. Maybe we'll see more of it later. At some point, I started holding her back. Because I think I might know who that was in the chair now. Assuming, well, I'm making a lot of assumptions, so I won't say it. In case I'm just, completely off the mark.
大丈夫だ。僕がいる。絶対に大丈夫だ。
I squinted into the darkness. I could see several shadows moving about. The strange men, and one of them was clearly different than the others. The little girl again, that small girl.
やっぱりあいつだ。
She slowly walked across the room, straight toward where we were hiding. Did she find us? My heart started to pound faster. But it seemed that wasn't the case. The men followed her across my field of vision and stopped in the corner in front of the empty wall.
何をしてるんだ?
She opened what looked like a small breaker box on the wall. You know, those things with a yellow warning sign and a black or red text that reads danger, high voltage. Turn it off. And then she took something out of her pocket and slid it again inside the box. Nanny? There was a loud noise on the other side of the wall. Okay, was that like a secret code? I thought she was gonna like turn off all the lights in the hospital or something, turn everything off, but actually she just punched a bunch of buttons or like a secret code, and I guess going to like a secret room or something. I don't know. The girl shut the door to the breaker box and put her hand on the wall and slid it to the side. It's like a secret elevator? The wall opened easily as if it was weightless. It must have been some kind of sliding door. She led the men inside and vanished. Okay, see ya. The wall closed and the dissection room was quiet again.
隠し扉だったのか。
Alright. I guess that little girl wasn't just a normal girl. She's apparently somehow associated with like a secret, maybe like research lab? I don't know. I guess. I mean, assuming we saw as Takeru and Serika when we were younger, we did see some kind of like weird, super mad scientist experiment. So maybe there is like a secret research lab in this hospital or something. I guess that's the idea.
もう大丈夫だ。
I waited for a while to make sure she wasn't coming back, and then finally opened the cabinet door. Serika and I crawled out. I'm surprised we didn't have like a positive delusion or something while we were like stuck inside together in the cabinet. It was prime fan service, but I guess not. I took a deep breath of air into my lungs.
なんかここって秘密基地みたい。
そうだな。
Why would they build a huge mechanism like this? What was going on at this hospital? And what was on the other side of that wall?
おい、伊藤。もう出てきても平気だぞ。
I knocked softly at the door of Ito's cabinet. And then it turns out he's dead. No, okay. Okay. He's just angry. He's not dead, he's just angry. Or maybe a little bit scared. Ito leapt out of the cabinet. His face was pale and his hand was over his mouth.
静かにしてくれ。
He crouched down to the ground, trying his best not to scream. It was only then that I realized that the cabinet I stuffed Ito in was already occupied. Yep, that's what I was guessing. He really did spend his time in there with a corpse. I could see that the lamp above the door was red. I hadn't had time to check, but still, that was a horrible thing to do to someone. Oh well.
すまない。非常事態だったんだ。
非常事態じゃなかったら今頃ただじゃ済ましてねえぞてめえ。
Okay.
ほんと悪い。
Well, I don't know how much
もういい。
how much apologizing would make up for it,
そ
but
れより行こうぜ。ほら。
I guess our best friend will forgive us. What's up, I3 Ago? How you say? I3 Ago. I'm just reading a visual novel. A murder mystery visual novel, I guess. We're getting to the halfway point, I think. So, you know, this is when it starts. I feel like, I mean, hopefully it starts heating up, because I've heard, again, I heard this visual novel is really good, apparently, but so far, it's been okay. Apparently, like, we're following some sort of, like, murder case or whatever, and, you know, there's been some strange death, and recently, there's something to do with psychics, I guess, but I don't know. We'll see. Ito staggered to his feet. I believe this is chapter 4. I think, yeah. But then he collapsed to the floor. I waited for him to calm down, and then opened the door to the breaker box like the girl had done.
隠し扉だって。
ああ。
I looked deep inside the box. There was a RFID scanner like the ones they use at train turnstiles inside.
これじゃカードがないと開かない。
At least halfway through the first playthrough anyway. And Novel Instant like, yeah, I don't know, I've heard mixed because I said before, like supposedly it's like a standalone sequel, but it is related to Chaos Head and everything. I've heard mixed statements about that. You know, whether or not it's really connected to Chaos Head or not, and there might be similar themes and everything, but I feel like, I don't know, we'll see maybe when I get to the end, but I really think it might, you know, you might not need to, like, go through Chaos Head to really understand Chaos Head, I feel like, but I don't know yet, though. I never went through the game yet, so... Completely connected? But I've heard different, though. I've heard that you don't need to, especially because I believe the characters that show up in Chaos Head don't show up in Chaos Child, right? As far as I know. Unless I could be wrong about that, I don't know. Well, whatever. Those people are wrong? I don't know. It's too late now, I already started. And everything. And actually, well, the reason why I only started Chaos Child is the fact that I really hated the Chaos Head anime, you know? I watched a little bit of it and I dropped it, so I don't know, I don't really want to go through Chaos Head. I'd rather just go through this one instead. We'll see, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. Well, we'll see. I want to see what this is about, because I've heard that's better, right? It's better than Chaos Head. Or at least, you know, depends on your opinion, I guess. But I feel like people often say it's worth it, even if you haven't gone through Chaos Head and everything. Yeah, the anime adaptations are trash as well. I heard about that as well. The anime for this one as well. I don't know. I don't want to, like, stop now, though. And, you know, maybe I'll just, like, well, I guess I'll just stop this entire playthrough and just go back to Chaos Head. I kind of don't want to do that. I'm already invested, so it's too late for that. Yeah. So I'm just gonna, like, you know, go through it. I guess, I don't know, I guess maybe, yeah, if you go through Chaos Head, you might have a better, more experience, more, like, you know, context or everything. But we'll see, I guess. I mean, I can, like, connect the dots, you know? I think, maybe. Read Chaos Head after this novel? Maybe. There's also, like, a recap episode that's apparently better than the anime, is what I've heard. It's also, like, a possibility as well, but mostly, I don't know. It depends if I really like Chaos Child, then maybe I'll go back to Chaos Head. But I'll have to wait until the very end, I guess, to make that decision, you know? It doesn't? Well, we'll see. Anyway, that wasn't good. What should we do now? I hadn't anticipated this. But then Serica, who had been fiddling around with different parts of the wall, let out a small cry.
なんだ？
これちゃんと閉まってないよ。
何？
Serica pointed to her feet. The wall was set to slide upon rails on the floor, but some kind of cloth had gotten stuck and jammed them, so the door wasn't shut all the way.
伊藤、手を貸せ。
How convenient.
OK。よっ。
The two of us yanked the door to the side. We heard a loud clunk, like something was unlocking, and then the wall started to slide open. One of the men had dropped their handkerchief or something onto the rails. When Serica pulled it off, the door began to move more freely. All that was left was to slide the door open. And beyond it was...
また階段だぜ。
More stairs? Oh, okay. Oh, it's a stair. I thought it was an elevator. That's what I thought at first, but I guess it's stairs over here. I wonder what this is. I mean, I guess they're just lights. Just normal light bulbs, maybe. I could see stairs going down. There was a sub-basement below the hospital basement. The place was protected by very elaborate camouflage.
なんかやばい雰囲気だな。
Don't worry about it. Just go.
どうするタク。
We could call the police, but nah.
ここまで来たんだ。僕は行くよ。
Like the rational thing would be to at least call the police before going down, in case we, I don't know, get murdered or something, but I guess not. Screw that. To be honest, I was terrified of what I might find down there. But this was something I had to do no matter what. For just a moment, I thought of Kurusu. And she's bleeding out on the bed.
タクル。お願いだから。これ以上はやめて。もう、やめて。
尾上、伊藤、お前たちはここで待ってても。
冗談じゃねえよ。
Ito looked at the cabinets on the wall and moaned a little.
私も行く。いざとなったらタクを守らなきゃ。
逆だろ。さっき怖いって震えてたのは誰だよ。
そんなことしてないもん。
We all looked at each other and nodded a little, then began to descend the staircase. The power of friendship will protect us, maybe. As we went down, it got darker, and the air got heavier and more humid.
大丈夫か、尾上。
うん。
And after we'd gone down for a few minutes, we ran into a door. We'd probably gone down about a floor. I turned the knob and it opened easily. Maybe it had been locked to begin with. It was dimly lit, musty-smelling hallway. It was clear that the place hadn't been abandoned, and there wasn't a layer of dust everywhere. It even felt like it had been cleaned. But it felt so old. There was a sense of desolation, as if no one had wanted to use this place for anything for a very long time. Had it been like this since the hospital above us was built? And this air, I knew it. What does it smell like? Like blood, maybe? I don't know. The sides of my head started to hurt as the horrible memories came back.
ねえ、タク、ここって。
If I had to guess, I guess this is where they went, when they were little kids. Serica and Takaru. Serica seemed to remember too. That's right, this was the place. How'd you get here the first time? Did you know the secret code, to open the wall, maybe? Or maybe the wall wasn't there before. I didn't know how we'd done it, but when we were kids, the two of us had snuck in here into the basement of AH Tokyo General Hospital. We were trying to investigate an urban legend about Amy. I still don't know much about Amy. You always see those texts that, always involve Amy telling someone else to do stuff, and then, when someone dies and everything. Still don't know exactly what that means, but yeah. And then Serica and I saw this lady. Every time I look at that, that picture, I feel like, I don't know. Anyway, we'd seen it. I feel like I think I know who that lady is, but I don't say it. I tried to avoid thinking about it as much as I possibly could. But I failed. The memory would come back to me, then fade, and then come back again. As I had grown up, I'd even tried to convince myself that I'd never seen anything at all. But I felt that too. It was unreal, like something out of a nightmare, but something in my heart told me that it was real. And it was real after all. Hmm? Yes, it was real. I was sure of it. Was she watching? Is she watching the Chaos Child anime adaptation? This is true torture. Anyway. And Shinji's here is kind of like, hey, what's going on? I've never been here before. Ito realized that there was something wrong with Serika and I and tried to pull us back up the stairs. But we couldn't do that. Okay? There were suddenly footsteps behind us. Ha ha ha. Well, no, there. I could hear what sounded like panting, like the panting of a beast behind me. Okay, that's what it is. I could feel its warm, stinking breath on my neck. Is it like a dog or something? I couldn't turn around. I wanted to fall to the ground in terror. But if I did that, I knew somehow that thing behind me would attack. Suddenly, I heard Serika's thin, frail voice. She should have been right next to me, but for some reason I couldn't see her.
Oh no.
And then her voice cut off. I guess she's dead. And there was the sound of something being crushed. Very juicy. And then the sound of what sounded like someone kneading a ball of meat. And mixed with it was the sound of snapping bones. Ito turned around and suddenly froze with terror.
Miyashiro. Nanda?
I don't know, you tell me. I can't see it yet.
Oi.
No, you idiot, don't look. If you look, it will kill you. Was this SCP? So don't look. Don't blink either. A bloody piece of meat fell to the ground at our feet. It was what used to be Serika. Ito screamed. I couldn't help myself. I turned around to look what he was seeing. And what I saw was... Okay. Oh. Huh. It reminds me of Mio. Is this Konosato Mio? This looks like Konosato Mio, except a lot taller, and also obviously has the sticker face. It was standing there, moaning in a voice that was filled with hatred and pain. Oh, chapter 5. Okay, chapter 5. Giglomaniacs, the illusory dwellers of the Outcry. Okay. Back to screaming. Oh, okay. I don't know what's going on. Is this real? I can't tell. I feel like this is a delusion, but it could also be real. I don't know. Anyway. Takeru is very scared of this giant monster. What was that? What the hell was that? A giant woman with a head like a sumo sticker? You know, I really don't believe this is real. I mean, come on, it looks like Mio. It's Mio with a giant sticker head, and also she's giant. So I don't think this is real. Come on, it was almost like a bad joke. I wanted to laugh. The hilarious looking monster was going to the hilarious looking monster was going to be what killed me. Okay, I don't know why I read that weird. I was thinking like to be what killed me? No, to be what killed me, yeah. Okay. What the hell kind of death was that? If you laugh, that thing isn't scary at all. Ha ha ha! And then we die. That giant woman's hands stretched out for me. As it moaned in pain, its arms moving to crush me. And suddenly my vision went black. I couldn't see anything. And then I realized it probably crushed my eyes. The hilarious looking sumo sticker woman had crushed my eyes. Whose eyes are there? You know, I was going to be torn apart like Sarika and killed. Whose eyes are they? It was the funniest thing in the world. Turns out it was a comedy visual novel. Could you even imagine anything stupider? Suddenly, I heard a sharp voice next to me. Something moved over my mouth to stop me from laughing. I was grabbed from behind, and thin but powerful arms were wrapped around my neck. It hurt. I couldn't breathe. Now there's Mio. Kunasato Mio. And I think we had like another weird force delusion. We had this before, but normally when we get a delusion trigger, you get the little noise, right? The little sound effect. But this one just transitioned into like something weird, like really ridiculous, out of nowhere. That's dangerous, Mio. You know, it isn't always like that in like the movies. When you choke someone and you know, I mean, obviously they kind of suffocate and get knocked out, but sometimes they might actually die. You never know. It can cause long-term brain damage actually when you don't have enough oxygen in your head, going to your brain. But anyway, I nodded as hard as I could, and then the hands around my neck relaxed, and it became much easier to breathe. Oh, those are some noises that the voice actor had to do.